grade 10 children. CBSE date sheet is out for the board exams 2026. I think all of you are in the revision mode. You know the best way of doing board exam revision is to solve the PYQs. One of the most important chapter in chemistry is your carbon and its compounds. To have a better understanding of how to solve questions in the board exam, okay, with respect to carbon and its compounds, let us solve few PYQs, and today I'm focusing on the PYQs for the year 2025. This would help you to approach the questions in more better way. If you see the question here, okay, it has many sub parts. Let us see the first part. Draw two isomeric structures of butene. Now, as the name suggests, butene has 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms. There is no specification of any number here, so I'll take the double bond at first carbon. So this is my butene. Okay, this is my butene. Now, when I need to draw the isomeric structures of butene. Now, you people know butene is your C4Hi, and I have arranged them, the atoms in this way. Now, he is asking to write two isomeric structures of this butane. So, what will I do? What is isomerism? Compounds which have the same structural formula, okay, but they have a different molecular arrangement. Now, I have to draw few more structures which have same formula as C4Hi, but the arrangement of atoms or the double bond can differ. Okay, let me try to do this. Here, my double bond is between carbon 1 and carbon 2. Why am I numbering from the left side? Because carbons holding double bond should always get a lower number when you are doing the numbering of the carbon skeleton. Now, if I try to write one more structure, I can shift the double bond here. I can shift the double bond between carbon 2 and carbon 3 and write one structure. How do I do this? CH3, CH, double bond, CH, CH3. Now, if you check the formula here, okay, for structural formula, it is still C4H8. So, my structural formula is still remaining the same. I have just shifted the double bond between carbon 2 and carbon 3. Let me number the carbons now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what is the name of this structure? Okay, it is still but. Okay, but now my double bond is at carbon 2, so it will be but2ene. Okay, let me try to draw one more structure for this with the same C4H8. Now I have shifted the double bond between carbon 1 and carbon 2. Initially it was there between carbon 1 and carbon 2. I have shifted between carbon 2 and carbon 3. Now with respect to shifting of double bond, I can't get one more structure. Because if I am shifting double bond here, then I will number from this side. That will again become but1ene only. So I can't do that. So let me try changing the carbon skeleton or putting one carbon as my substituent. If I do that, okay, I'll do here C4H8, it should still remain as C4H8. I can take 3 carbons in the main chain and put other carbon as my substituent. Okay, now I can put my double bond here and try to fill the I'll try to fill the hydrogens. Here 1 bond, so I'll get 3 hydrogens. Here already 4 bonds are there, so I'll not put any hydrogens. CH2 and CH3. Now let me try to name this structure. When I am trying to name this structure, this is my carbon skeleton, the main chain. I will number it from this side because carbon holding the double bond should get a lesser number. 1, 2, 3. And at second position, I have my substituent, which is methyl. So I will write the substituent part first. How will I write? 2-methyl. Always substituent should be written first. Then you will write, and you should mention the position of the substituent. Then write the word root. What should you write next? How many carbons are there in the main chain? How many carbons are there in the main chain? 3 carbons. So, prop. What is the position of the double bond? Carbon 1, prop 1ene. So, it is 2-methyl, prop 1ene and but2ene. We have got 2 isomers for butane. Having same structural formula but with a different arrangement of atoms or the double bond. Now, if you see the next question, he is asking us to name the following compounds. Now, the first compound, if you see, it is CH3, CH2, CH2, Cl. Okay. Now, if you try to write this compound in a proper way, it is CH3, CH2, CH2, Cl. Now, what should I do? I should first give the numbering for the carbon chain. I can number from either from the left side or I can number from the right side. But I will number the compound in such a way that the carbon holding substituent Cl should get least number. So I will be numbering from the right side, carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3. Okay, I told just now that the substituent should be written first. Chlorine, when it becomes substituent, I call it chloro. So what should be the name of the compound? 1 chloro. Next I told you, write the number of carbons present in the main chain. It is 3 carbons, so it should be prop. 1 chloro, prop. Okay, now there is no unsaturation, so I will not end with in as before. When there is no unsaturation, okay, what should I call it? This is saturated compound, so I will end it with in. So what is the name of the compound? 1-chloropropane. Let us see the next compound. Let us see the next compound here. Okay, in this is the first question. Let me do the second question. It will be easy for me to write it here. Okay, he is saying CH3. Okay, CH2. I am just expanding it for your understanding. COCH3. Now, if you see this compound, it has a functional group. What is the functional group present here? It has ketone. How did I recognize that it is a ketone functional group? Okay, you have alkyl group. Okay, whenever you have the carbonyl group at the center and 2 alkyl groups on the other side of the carbonyl, I call it as ketone. When do you say it is an aldehyde? Okay, if you have a carbonyl group on the one side, if you have alkyl group on the other side, if you have hydrogen, I call it aldehyde. So looking at the structure, carbonyl group, and on the other sides I have 2 alkyl groups, I should call it as what? Ketone. Now ketones end with the suffix ONE. Okay, here I didn't take chlorine in the suffix part because chlorine I usually consider it as a substituent, and I write chlorine, bromine, iodine, fluorine, all this I will write at the starting because I consider them as the substituents. Now when it comes to ketone, I consider ketone as my functional group. Now whenever I am writing, I have to represent functional group in the name, I will always represent the functional group as the suffix at the end of the name. Now how should I number it? I will not number it from the left side, I will number it from the right side. Because if I am numbering it from the right side, now my functional group, the ketone group, will get a least number 2. If I am numbering from this side, this will get number 3. That is the reason I am preferably numbering it from the right side. Now what should I do? Okay, now what is the, how many carbons are there in the main chain? 4. So it will be bute. Okay, it will be bute. Now what do I have next? Next I have to represent the position of the ketone group. Okay. Okay, now I can write it in this way. Okay, I can write it in this way. Bute. There are 2 ways of writing it. Let me tell you. You can write 2 at the starting only. You can write 2 at the starting and just represent it as butanone. 2-butanone. Okay, you can just show the position of the ketone group at the starting and write 2-butanone. This is one way of writing. Okay, now if you don't write 2 and if you simply write butanone, even then the name is right. Why is it so? You need not write 2-butanone. Even if you write butanone, it is right. Why? Because definitely there should be 2 alkyl groups on both the sides. Okay, you should definitely have the carbonyl group. Now what is a possible arrangement? In carbonyl group I have 1 carbon. Other 3 carbons, what is the possible arrangement for me? This side I have to put 2 carbons, this side I have to put 1 carbon. The only possible arrangement of these 3 carbons is like this. So when I say butanone, it is very clearly understood. I will put my carbonyl group, one side I will put 2 carbons and one side I will put 1 carbon. Even though if you don't specify 2-butanone also, if someone says butanone, my obvious structure will be this only because carbonyl group has to be at the center. 2 carbons should come here and 1 carbon should come this side. So what is the name of this compound? If you write 2-butanone also, it is right. If you just write butanone also, your answer is right. So this is about the first question, and there is still one more part in the question. Write the chemical equations for the following reactions. We will start writing the chemical equations for the following reactions with proper conditions which are needed for to write it. Now let's solve it. What is the first chemical equation he is asking? Ethanol undergoes complete oxidation. Okay, what is the formula of ethanol? CH3 CH2OH. Okay, CH3 CH2OH. Now he is asking us to do the complete oxidation of ethanol. What is oxidation? Oxidation is addition of oxygen. Okay, now let me do oxidation here. So I need to add oxygen. Now when I want to add oxygen, I need an oxidizing agent. I need a compound, okay, or a reagent which will supply me oxygen. Now let us see what are the 2 oxidizing agents I am using here who play an active role here in giving oxygen to ethanol. Now the 2 oxidizing agents I have here are, you have to remember it very properly. The first one is alkaline KMnO4. alkaline KMnO4. What is KMnO4 called? Potassium permanganate. What is KMnO4 called? Potassium permanganate. If you want, I'll write the name here. It is your potassium permanganate. It is purple in color. Okay, you have one more oxidizing agent, which is your acidified potassium dichromate. Okay, potassium, the first part is same, it is your potassium dichromate. So what is the role? Either you can use alkaline KMnO4 or you can use acidified potassium dichromate. Be very clear, you cannot write just potassium permanganate or dichromate and leave that. You have to mention here, it should be, the potassium permanganate should be used in alkaline basic condition. Here K2Cr2O7 has to be used in acidic condition. Now what is the role of these two oxidizing agents? They supply oxygen. They supply oxygen. Okay, to be very precise, they supply a single nascent oxygen. They won't supply O2. This is wrong. Okay, many children have a misunderstanding that it supplies O2. No, it supplies a single oxygen. The single oxygen generally exists in the molecular form of O2. But here, KMnO4 and potassium dichromate, they supply nascent oxygen, which is your single oxygen. We call it as nascent oxygen. Now, okay, I'll write both of them here. Either you can use alkaline KMnO4, or I will be using acidified potassium dichromate, which will give, okay, your nascent supply, your nascent oxygen. Then ethanol undergoes complete oxidation to give ethanoic acid. Ethanol will undergo complete oxidation to give ethanoic acid. This is my ethanol. You can also, ethanol is the IUPAC name. Here the IUPAC name of this compound is ethanoic acid. So ethanol will give ethanoic acid by undergoing complete oxidation. What are the oxidizing agents I am using here? Alkaline KMnO4 or acidified potassium dichromate. Okay, this is the reaction one. Next I have to do what did he say here? Propane undergoes hydrogenation. Okay, we have to do hydrogenation of propane. Now what is propane formula? CH3 CH double bond CH2. I'll number from this side, so this will be 1 propene. Okay, this is my propane. I have to do hydrogenation of propane. Now propane is an unsaturated compound. Now it has one unsaturation. Now I will do hydrogenation. Hydrogenation means what? Addition of hydrogen onto the unsaturation is hydrogenation. I have to add hydrogen onto this double bond. I have to add hydrogen onto this double bond. To do this hydrogenation process, I need catalyst. Which catalyst can I use here? I can either use nickel or palladium or platinum. What is the role of catalyst in a chemical reaction? Catalyst will increase the rate of the reaction without itself getting consumed in the reaction. After the reaction is done, I can get back my catalyst. It is not consumed in the reaction. Its role is to speed up the reaction. It speeds up and you can collect it back at the end. Now hydrogen is added here. When one hydrogen is added onto this carbon, one hydrogen is added onto this carbon. What do you get here? CH3, CH2, CH3. So now the unsaturation has disappeared because I have added hydrogen. What is the name of this compound? This compound is my propane. So propane on hydrogenation will give me propane. I am adding hydrogen in the presence of the catalyst nickel or palladium or platinum. More commonly we use nickel because nickel is cheaper and it is available. Next reaction, if you see, I have to react ethanoic acid with ethanol. Okay, now before writing the reaction, I will tell you something here. Acid plus alcohol, it will give me ester. Okay, now acid is your RCOOH is the general formula of acid, ROH is the general formula of alcohol, and the general formula of ester is RCOOR. Clear? Now I have to react acid plus alcohol and ester should be formed. Before writing this, I'll tell you something. Okay, when you react acid with alcohol, what exactly happens? Dehydration happens. Means when acid plus alcohol react, water molecule is getting eliminated to form ester. Now for the dehydration to happen, I need a dehydrating agent. Okay, I need a dehydrating agent. Now the most common dehydrating agent used for this reaction is concentrated H2SO4. So whenever you are reacting acid plus alcohol to form ester, you have to use a dehydrating agent, which is your concentrated H2SO4. Now let me do the reaction now. Ethanoic acid is what? I'll just erase this. Okay, ethanoic acid is what? CH3COOH. Okay, plus alcohol. Which alcohol he is asking me to take? Ethanol. Okay, ethanol. Now I will write ethanol in this way for the convenience so that I can show you removal of water very easily. Now what should I do? I told you I have to do this in the condition of concentrated H2SO4, which is acting as a dehydrating agent, means it will help me to remove water from acid and alcohol. This is my ethanoic acid, this is my ethanol. Now always remember, hydrogen should be removed from which molecule, OH should be removed from which molecule. Children always have a confusion regarding this. Hydrogen should be removed from ethanol and OH should be removed from ethanoic acid. Okay, now what do you see here? Water molecule is getting eliminated. You just combine the remaining atoms here. CH3CO, water molecule has been eliminated. I have one oxygen here, CH2, CH3. Plus water molecule is getting eliminated. So this is your esterification reaction where ethanoic acid is reacting with ethanol. Hydrogen will go from ethanol, OH will go from ethanoic acid, H2O molecule will come out, and what do I get here? Ester. Can you see it is satisfying my general formula RCOR? This is my one alkyl group, this is my other alkyl group, and I have COO in between. Okay, so this is the formation of ester from ethanoic acid and ethanol, and my ester is found. Remember one point for ester. Ester is a sweet smelling compound. Ester is a sweet smelling compound. That is the reason ester is used in making perfumes. Very important point. Please remember the point. This is your esterification reaction, which is very important. It has been asked multiple times in the board exams. Okay, so this is the. Now let us solve the second question, which came in the year 2025. A compound X is a good solvent. Okay, he clearly mentioned it's a carbon compound. Now we have very two important solvents which are industrially used. One is water, which is a universal solvent. After water, now which are compounds which are not soluble in water, for them ethanol is used as a solvent. It is a carbon compound. So looking at this immediately you should get an idea that the solvent should be ethanol. Okay, now on reaction with sodium, X forms two products. Now if you assume it to be ethanol, ethanol forms two products, Y and Z. Okay, now I am going to react ethanol with sodium because I have got a clear indication, because it's a good solvent, it is ethanol for me, that too it's a carbon compound. Now I will react ethanol with sodium and let us see what are the two compounds Y and Z. When we get to know what is the compound Z, now then I can check if Z is used to convert vegetable oil into vegetable ghee. Now if you see, I can convert vegetable oil into vegetable ghee by hydrogenation, by adding hydrogen. So Z should be hydrogen. Okay, now let me write the reaction and see. On reaction with sodium X, I am assuming X to be ethanol. So this is my first question. I am assuming X to be ethanol. So it is CH3, CH2OH, and I am reacting it with. Let me take ethanol and react it with sodium. Now it will give me what? It will give me sodium ethoxide, CH3, CH2. Okay, CH3, CH2, ONA. Okay, now oxygen will have a negative charge here, so, metal sodium will have a positive charge. You need not write the charges, even then it is fine. I just want to show that, okay, I'll just explain you this. I just want to show that when these both are reacting, okay, hydrogen will leave the ethanol molecule. Okay, when hydrogen leaves the ethanol molecule, okay, it will leave as H+. It will leave as H+. So the electrons will remain with oxygen. The electrons will remain with oxygen. That is the reason we can put negative charge on oxygen. When oxygen has negative, probably sodium we will represent with positive charge. Plus, which gas will get released? Because H+ has leave ethanol, it will be released as H2 gas. Now if we balance it, because I have two hydrogens here, I will take 2 moles of ethanol here, and let me balance it on the other side also. Let me put 2 here. Okay, let me put 2 here. When I have put 2 here, it is becoming 2 sodium atoms, so I will put 2 here also. Okay, now this is my reaction. 2 moles of ethanol reacts with 2 moles of sodium, giving 2 moles of sodium ethoxide. What is the name of this compound? The name of this compound is sodium ethoxide. Whenever you have metal in a compound, the metal should be written first. Sodium ethoxide. Sodium ethoxide plus hydrogen gas is released in this reaction. Now I have justified, identify X, Y and Z, and also write the reaction of X with sodium to justify your answer. So what is my X? X is my ethanol. Then what did they ask? X forms 2 compounds Y and Z. What is my Y here? Sodium ethoxide. And Z is also formed. Z is my hydrogen gas. And I have also told you hydrogen gas is used to hydrogenate vegetable oil to vegetable ghee. So my Z is hydrogen. So I found out X, Y and Z. Okay, now let us go to the next part. He is asking us next part, write chemical equation to show what happens when ethanol burns in oxygen. Let me do that now. What happens when ethanol burns in oxygen? When something is burning in oxygen, what do I call that reaction? As combustion reaction. Now any hydrocarbon or any organic compound on combustion will give me CO2 plus water. Okay, any organic compound on combustion burning in the presence of oxygen. What is combustion? Burning with oxygen gives CO2 and water. Now when I try to balance this reaction now, I have 2 carbons here, but I have only 1 carbon here, so I put 2 here. Let me go to hydrogens. I have 6 hydrogens, 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6 hydrogens here. Here I have only 2 hydrogens. So to balance it, I will put 3 here, 3 2s is 6, so 6 hydrogens here, 6 hydrogens here. Carbons got balanced, hydrogens got balanced. I am left with balancing my oxygens. I have 3 oxygens here, but here I have how many oxygens? 2 into 2, 4, 4 plus 3, 7. Okay, sorry, here I have one more. This side I have 3 oxygens. Here I have 2 into 2, 4 plus 3, 7 oxygens. So how should I balance it? I have to balance on this side because this side I have less number of oxygens. Now what can I do here? If I put 3 here, okay, if I put 3 here, is it getting balanced? Here I have 7, 3 into 2, 6, 6 plus 1, 7. Now even my oxygens got balanced. So this is my balanced reaction for combustion of ethanol. Let me do the second reaction. Ethanol is heated at 443 Kelvin in concentrated H2SO4. Here what is the role of excess concentrated H2SO4? It is acting as dehydrating agent. I told you in the previous question, what is dehydrating agent? Dehydrating agent will remove water from the molecules. Okay, here concentrated H2SO4 is acting as a dehydrating agent. We will use it in excess. Now let me take ethanol CH3, CH2OH, and I am doing dehydration of this using concentrated H2SO4. Now I will take this in excess so that dehydration can happen easily, and the temperature condition here is 443 Kelvin. I need high temperature to remove water from ethanol. Now from here, if I remove water, what will I get? This I will show you in a better way. CH2, I am writing this hydrogen separately for CH2 to give you a better view and understanding. CH2OH. Now from this carbon, hydrogen is removed. From here, OH is removed. Now it usually happens like this. Okay, hydrogen goes from one carbon, OH goes from one carbon. This bond will shift here. So what do I get here when water is removed? I get CH2 double bond CH2. What do I call the compound here? 2 carbons, so it is eth, and I have double bond, so my compound is ethene. So ethanol, when I treat with concentrated H2SO4 at 443 Kelvin, undergoes dehydration, giving me ethene. Clear? So this is the thing. Now the final reaction, the third one, what is the third question given here? Ethanol reacts with acidified potassium dichromate. I have just done this in the previous question, so I will do it quickly. Ethanol. Okay, now when I have taken acidified potassium dichromate, what is the role of acidified potassium dichromate? Acidified potassium dichromate here is acting as an oxidizing agent, so it will supply a nascent oxygen onto the ethanol. Ethanol on oxidation will give me what? Ethanoic acid. So this is my ethanol. It is undergoing oxidation using the oxidizing agent potassium dichromate, giving my ethanoic acid. So this is how the question has been asked. Like this you get an indirect questions where they give some X, Y, Z. When you are perfect in your reactions, identifying the compounds becomes very easy in this chapter. So this is all about the PYQs that came from this chapter in the year 2025. I'll see you in the next video with the PYQs of some other chapter in chemistry. Till then, see you, keep studying, keep revising. Bye.